Washington, D.C., on the 14th of June, 2025, tanks will thunder down Pennsylvania Avenue, and soldiers will march to celebrate the U.S. Army's 250th anniversary, coinciding with President Donald Trump's 79th birthday. The spectacle will project military might, but a rising chorus of scientists, educators, and industry leaders warns that America's true strength, its scientific innovation, rooted in its universities, is crumbling under severe budget cuts and restrictive policies. These self-inflicted wounds, experts fear, risk ceding us global dominance to rivals like China, which is surging in technological advancement. President Trump's budget cuts have plunged America's research enterprise into chaos, with universities facing unprecedented financial strain. The National Science Foundation is processing grants at its slowest pace in 35 years, stranding 357,600 researchers and students working on projects from astrophysics to next-generation batteries, per the New York Times. Health agencies like the National Institutes of Health, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and Food and Drug Administration are hemorrhaging funds, stalling cancer therapies, disease tracking, and drug safety protocols. At the Department of Health and Human Services, Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has eliminated 10,000 staff through buyouts and retirements, with another 10,000 jobs at risk. His proposal to bar government scientists from publishing in peer-reviewed journals threatens to bury breakthroughs like mRNA vaccines. The CDC is on its knees, an official told the Washington Post. We're losing our ability to monitor threats like bird flu. The cuts are devastating America's top research universities, which have long driven innovations like the internet, GPS, and medical breakthroughs. Below are the specific impacts on 3 leading institutions, with broader effects rippling across academia. Johns Hopkins, a global leader in medical innovation, faces an $800 million shortfall. Its AI-guided robotic surgery program, designed to revolutionize heart and liver transplants by cutting recovery times by 50%, is halted. A glioblastoma treatment trial, aimed at doubling brain cancer survival rates, was scrapped after losing $15 million in NIH funding. The university's neuroimaging lab, vital for Alzheimer's research, canceled a $10 million MRI scanner upgrade. Johns Hopkins has laid off 120 lab technicians, deferred 50 faculty hires, and cut 150 graduate stipends. Decades of progress are slipping away, a neuroscientist told Science magazine. Baltimore's economy is reeling, with 600 jobs lost at lab suppliers, cafeterias, and bookstores, per the Baltimore Sunday. Local hospitals report a 10% drop in clinical trial patients, slowing new therapies. The city's real estate market sees 200 fewer apartment leases near campus, and 500 high school students lost access to university-funded STEM programs, deepening educational gaps. Columbia University's $400 million cut has gutted its climate modeling lab. The lab's $20 million supercomputer, used to predict hurricanes and wildfires, operates at half capacity, delaying evacuation plans for states like Florida and Texas. An $8 million coastal resilience project to protect cities like Miami from rising sea levels is shelved. The lab reports a 30% PhD student dropout rate, with 25 of 80 candidates joining universities in Canada and Norway, per the Chronicle of Higher Education. We're ceding climate leadership to Europe, a climatologist warned. New York City faces a $15 million tax revenue loss, straining transit and sanitation, per the New York Post. Local businesses near Columbia report a 12% revenue drop. A $5 million air quality monitoring program for low-income neighborhoods is paused, affecting 10,000 residents. Undergraduate STEM enrollment is down 8% as students see dim research prospects. The University of Pennsylvania's $175 million loss has derailed its AI-driven drug discovery program. 2 therapies for leukemia and pancreatic cancer, which could extend survival by 18 months, are mothballed. A 2 million gene sequencer for rare disease research sits unused, and a 5 million synthetic biology lab is canceled. Penn cut 80 postdocs, 200 undergrad stipends, and 25% of its chemistry budget. We're strangling our future, a dean told the Philadelphia Inquirer. Philadelphia's $30 million tax revenue drop strains schools and infrastructure. Biotech startups report a 20% decline in licensing deals, stunting growth. Local hospitals see a 15% drop in research patients, slowing treatments for diabetes and heart disease. The city's tourism industry reports a 10% decline in hotel bookings near campus. The crisis spans America's academic landscape. MIT's $90 million cut has paused a quantum computing project critical for cybersecurity, with 3 lead researchers, including a Chinese-born physicist, joining Singapore's National University. Stanford reports a 25% drop in patent filings, with 15 biotech startups unable to license gene therapies. UT Austin's $120 million loss has frozen a semiconductor lab, leaving 1,500 tech jobs unfilled at firms like AMD and Tesla, as graduates flock to Canada and Germany. Nationwide, universities have cut 2,300 faculty, 10,000 staff, and 15,000 stipends. Per the American Association of University Professors, university towns are reeling. Boston's $1.2 billion loss from MIT and Harvard has cost 1,000 local jobs, from lab vendors to food trucks, per the Boston Globe. New Haven's economy, tied to Yale's $150 million cut, sees a 12% retail revenue drop, with 200 businesses at risk. Ann Arbor's $100 million loss at the University of Michigan has slashed 300 jobs and $10 million in tax revenue. Community colleges, key talent pipelines, report an 8% drop in STEM majors per the National Student Clearinghouse. In California, community colleges near UC Berkeley see a 10% enrollment decline in computer science. University mental health services are crumbling. UCLA's $140 million cut has reduced counseling staff by 30%, leaving 2,000 students on wait lists. Food insecurity is rising, with 15% of UC Berkeley undergrads skipping meals, per a campus survey. Community outreach is vanishing. Penn's $2 million STEM tutoring program for 500 low-income Philadelphia teens was cut, and Cornell's $1 million coding initiative for 300 rural New York students ended. While U.S. universities falter, competitors are accelerating. China's 8.9% annual research spending growth dwarfs America's 4.7%. Beijing's $138 billion fund, launched in March, fuels AI, quantum computing, and hydrogen energy, with Tsinghua University unveiling a quantum chip for military drones. Peking University's AI lab, backed by $200 million, has poached 50 U.S. trained researchers. China's building the future while we dismantle ours, said China expert Rush Doshi. Europe is also advancing. The UK's 10% research budget increase has lured 200 U.S. academics to Oxford and Cambridge. Germany's Max Planck Institutes offer 20% higher salaries, recruiting us postdocs for battery research. France's Sorbonne University's $300 million AI initiative has hired 30 U.S. scientists. Singapore's $50 billion tech fund has drawn 100 U.S. researchers, and Australia's University of Melbourne has doubled its quantum research budget, recruiting 25 U.S. postdocs. Trump's visa restrictions are driving talent away. A federal judge blocked his attempt to expel international students from Harvard, including an Indian scholar developing biodegradable plastics. Secretary of State Marco Rubio's push to revoke visas for Chinese students in tech fields like chip design has chilled campuses. The State Department's freeze on visa interviews leaves 277,398 Chinese students, mainly at Caltech and Yale, in limbo. At UC Berkeley, 40% of computer science postdocs are foreign-born. Half are considering offers from Shanghai and London. Stanford's drone project collapsed when a Chinese PhD student's visa was denied, costing $3 million. The University of Illinois' cybersecurity initiative risks losing 3 researchers to deportation. These losses could cost the U.S. $100 billion in economic output by 2030, per the National Bureau of Economic Research. The crisis is reshaping America's economy. Silicon Valley's venture capital for universities spin. Offs has dropped 30% per PitchBook, stifling startups like Moderna. California biotech firms report a 20% patent filing decline, slowing drug development. Texas and Arizona semiconductor startups face 2,700 vacant roles, threatening chip production for iPhones and jets. Boston's biotech hub has seen 500 layoffs, with 10 startups closing. Seattle's tech job postings are down 10% as Amazon and Boeing struggle to find talent. Small businesses are collapsing. Austin's 300 retailers near UT Austin have shuttered, citing a 20% drop in student spending. Madison, Wisconsin, lost 150 businesses near its university. Durham's 250 jobs vanished due to Duke's $130 million cut. Public schools in Baltimore, Ann Arbor, and Philadelphia face $10 million in combined losses from university-funded programs affecting 2,000 students. UCLA's counseling cuts have left 2,000 students without mental health support, and Berkeley's food insecurity affects 15% of undergrads. The White House defends the cuts as trimming bureaucratic fat, prioritizing border security and military upgrades. But experts draw chilling parallels. Britain's 19th century failure to invest in research let Germany and the US surpass it. The Soviet Union's suppression of science hastened its collapse. Universities built America. Think GPS, the moon landing, smartphones, said Washington Post columnist Max Boot. This is a superpower torching its engine. Immigrant scientists like Leo Szilard and Wernher von Braun drove America's rise. Today's policies risk exiling the next Szilard. The U.S. leads in Nobel Prizes and research output, but its edge is shrinking. China's universities file 50% more patents per the World Intellectual Property Organization. Europe's Horizon Europe outspends the U.S. on clean energy by 30%. Without urgent action, restoring funding, easing visas, and rebuilding academia, the U.S. risks becoming a bystander in AI, energy, and global markets. We're not just losing labs, we're losing history, a Stanford dean told The Atlantic. The tanks on the 1st of June, the 4th of May symbolize not strength, but a superpower's twilight.